This is Seth David from the world-famous Nerd Enterprises Incorporated, bringing to you another special screencast. This time we're talking about how to forecast your contracts, reporting on your future. Knowledge is power. Make an impact by learning more. Call us right now at 866-945-8070 for information about private trainings. We record the live session with you so you can review it as often as you like afterwards. How to forecast your contracts, reporting on your future. My friend, Deborah Kilsheimer, made an interesting statement, and I loved it, actually. I love Deborah. She's wonderful. In our Accountants, Bookkeepers, and Business Owners group right here on Facebook, Deborah made this comment here in which she says, all these reports are history reports. While good, I like sending a let's change history report. And she was responding to a post I had put up here asking people to chime in and add to a list of reports that I had put together when somebody recently asked me what kind of weekly reports would you recommend sending to a client on a regular basis. So I thought about Deborah's comment about forecasting or sending a let's change history report. She's talking about forecasting. Let's look at the future. We spend way too much time reporting on the past and not nearly enough time reporting on the future, looking at what do we think is going to happen. And using a conservative scenario, meaning we aim high on the expenses, low on the income, we can really come up with a very accurate and reliable financial picture of what we expect things to look like, and then keep track of it accurately. This was the whole basis of my Nerds Cash Flow Projection series, which I've done, which shows you how to model the entire big picture of the financials, your balance sheet, your profit and loss, and your statement of cash flows. And that's still available. But I want to look at something on somewhat more of a granular level today. And this is just inspired by something I was working on for a client, where we were talking about contracts. When you have a contractor who has long-term contracts, let's say an architectural firm or an engineering firm, who might have 2-year-long projects that they're looking at, and they want to do the projections. Well, imagine having a template that does for you what I'm showing you up here on your screens. We have what's in our pipeline. We have that compared with our goal, our over-under, the average project billing, and then based on that, how many more projects are needed to reach the goal. And imagine having this at your fingertips and knowing that it will update instantly as you get in new projects. Well, that's exactly what I've created here. If we come over here to the pipeline, I'll show you exactly how this works. Let's add project. What letter haven't we used yet? C. Okay. John Jacob. And you get the idea. I'm not going to fill out a whole form for you. But the key is this. If I put in the contract amount, let's say the contract amount is $150,000. 175. Let's use a number I haven't used yet. 175,000. Project start date. I'm just going to use today's date. The day I'm recording this, August 8th, 2014. Now, before I hit enter, I want you to focus on what happens out here in the timeline, starting in August, which is when this is going to start. I hit enter, and boom. And it knows how to populate the entire contract in terms of what the billing schedule is going to be. So how does it do that? I'm going to show you in a second. But first, let's go back to our goals and see what happened here. Notice what it did. First of all, our average project billing just went down because evidently the contract amount that I put in was less than the prior average, which was $180,000. Slightly, it brought the overall average down, just slightly. It was $180,000. Notice here I've now reached the number of projects that I've needed because I've actually met and exceeded my goal. And the following year hasn't changed at all because this entire project, if we go back to the pipeline, will happen in the year of 2014 according to the schedule. So how did I do that? Well, I built this table here that allowed me to say this is what my billing schedule looks like, right? So let's say that my billing schedule really looks more like this. Let's say it's 10% upfront in the first month, and then we're going to bill another 10%. And notice what I've got here is a formula that lets me see to make sure that I've used up all 100% of the 100% of any contract. Let's say then in month 3 we step it up and I've used 45%. Let's say in month 3 it's really going to be 50% and then 10, 10, and 10, right? So now I've got 100% of the whole project figured in terms of a billing schedule that spans over a period of 6 months. Well, this pipeline table is going to start with the project start date, whatever I put there, and notice now the whole schedule has changed. because the assumptions about my contracts and when they start has completely changed. Let's resize these columns so you can see everything. So now we've got, and again, the billing schedule affects all contracts. Now let's see what our goals look like. Things have changed a little bit because now the projects that originally might have started and finished in 2014 have spanned into 2015. So based on that change in the structure of my billing schedule on a standard contract of mine, I've still met my goal for 2014, and I've actually, because I spread a lot of it into the next year, I'm actually doing a little bit better in comparison to my goal in 2015. I still need 2 more projects to reach, based on an average billing, and that hasn't changed, right? Because the average contract is still the same. I just spread out the duration of the billing cycle on them. So that hasn't changed. And notice in 2015 now, I'm still short of my goal by 422,500. Based on an average billing of just under 180,000, I need 2.36 more projects. So all this has been created based on formulas that I've written. How did I do this? It's a little more than I can afford to go into in a short video like this, but I will give you a peek. Okay, this projected revenue would be sort of the beginning of the creation of your P&L and your projections. But going over here to the pipeline, the whole trick is in the formula that I've written here. Now, when you look at this formula, and I'm going to direct your attention up here to the top, it looks overwhelming. It took me hours to write. It is overwhelming. But what I did was I started simple with a simple formula that got one piece of it done, and then I built on it, and then I built on it. And what I did was I took a lot of simple formulas that I know how to write, and I combined them. So I've got logical formulas like if-then formulas, and within that I've got an and formula, which just looks at 2 conditions, makes sure both conditions are met, and then tells it what to do. I've got an H lookup in here, which essentially is once I figured out that I'm at my starting point in the timeline, that the date up here matches with the month and year of the project start date, then it looks over at my assumptions and it says, okay, what month are we in? And based on the month number that we're in, take whatever percentage is there and apply it back to the contract total. So in concept, what I'm doing here is very simple. The formula looks ugly, but what we're going to be doing in the Excel course that I'm now rolling out as of the time I'm recording this, by the time you're watching this, it may well be done, but we're going to be showing you exactly we're going to start you off teaching you how to write the simple formulas. We'll teach you how to write a simple if-then-else type conditional formula. We'll teach you how to write a simple and formula, and we'll teach you how to write a simple H lookup formula. That's all you actually need to create what I've created here. It's then just a matter of how I combine these concepts into one very big formula that enabled me to create something that does this. As always, if you have any questions, please reach out to me via email, seth@nerdenterprises.com. And don't forget to check us out at schoolofbookkeeping.com and sign up for the monthly subscription so you can get access to courses that are going to give you the kind of in-depth detail that you're going to want to get after seeing something like this, so you can learn how to do this for yourself or for your clients. As always, I hope you're having an absolutely fantastic day, and I look forward to seeing you on the web.